Good for her. Okay, we know who they are. Maybe if you're bold, you'll even admit you're one yourself. A helicopter parent. For one young woman in Ohio, it went too far, though. She took legal action. A helicopter meaning, you know, you're hovering over your kids all the time. 21-year-old college honor student Aubrey Ireland said her parents would regularly just travel 600 miles to visit her at school unannounced. They accused her of using drugs, being promiscuous, and even tracked her cell phone and computer use. Now, Ireland said she felt like a dog with a collar, and a judge agreed, granting her a restraining order against her parents. Here and talk to Dr. Erik Fisher, who's an emotional dynamics expert. From a psychological standpoint, how harmful is this hovering over our children?
Well, you know, our job as a parent is to work ourselves out of a job. And that's what we have to understand is basically we want to be downsized, you know. So as parents, we have to see that we want to give our children wings, you know. And if you open up a cocoon too quickly in a butterfly, it'll never get its wings the way it should. Right. So as parents, when we're moving them through childhood and into adulthood, you know, really by the time they're 18, we want to have given them the skills to succeed on their own. And as parents sometimes tie their success up, their own success and their children's success, sometimes they can get too involved, which isn't healthy for anybody.
Well, and you know, in a recent interview, Aubrey said that her parents suffer from codependency disorder. We don't usually associate that with the parent-child relationship, but is it common?
In varying degrees. I think sometimes we have to put a label on a lot of things. But do parents get too involved in their kids' life at times? Yes, they do at times. There's a balance that we have to strike, and that's the difficulty, is sometimes finding that balance. Some kids need a little bit more support. That's part of their temperament, part of the way they approach the world. They might have some special needs issues or mental health issues. Some kids need to be prodded to be more independent. So we have to look at the individual situations. And like we said, we don't know the facts of this situation and who may have had what. Sometimes kids have issues in teenage years that they grow out of that could be serious, that they could have scared the parents into wanting this extra control. And sometimes parents are just too controlling.
But it could go both ways, couldn't it? I mean, there are children who are codependent with their parents.
Right. You know, and there's a term that they use about kids who come out of helicopter parents called teacups and crispies. The teacups are the kids who are so fragile that they break whenever you try to push them into challenges and things. They can't take it. And crispies are ones who are just fried too crisp from being over-controlled. So sometimes, yes, kids do depend on their parents too much, but it's been fostered in a lot of ways.
Well, what are, I mean, okay, I understand the teacups, but the Crispies, do you just mean that they don't have...
There's so much pressure on them to succeed. By the time they get to college, they're burned out and they just don't have the energy, they don't have the drive, they're overstressed, and that stress takes a toll on us neurochemically too.
You know, some people have mentioned the point that she's an only child. Is it more prevalent, excuse me, to have these issues in a family where there is only one child?
There would be a trend and tendency to do that because so much of your energy is invested in that one child. You only have one chance to get it right, which can bring a lot in terms of a fear of failure.
Interesting. All right. Hey, Dr. Erik Fisher, thank you so much, and Joey Jackson as well. We appreciate you being here.